Good evening, everyone. With the fast approach of Christmas, which seems still incredibly unbelievable in my world, I thought what better time to do a vlog about my favorite books of this year than tonight. I somehow miraculously narrowed it down to my top 5 choices. 2 of them are standalone, 3 of them are series. And of course, I say miraculously, not because choosing 5 books was particularly difficult, but because I love all of them. So the first book, and one of the standalones that I absolutely loved this year, was Kat Winter's debut, In the Shadow of Blackbirds. 1, it's gorgeous. 2, this is really one of the first books I have ever cried all over. I'm pretty sure that I need another copy because my pages are stained with tears. It was a beautiful narrative. It was engrossing. Mary Shelley is one of my favorite young adult heroines. She's a badass, and I adore her. In the Shadow of Blackbirds is set in 1918 during the Spanish influenza. Actually, I think I'll just read you the jacket blurb. In a city filled with the dead and dying, while a nightmarish war rages halfway across the world, the grieving looking for answers in photographs and seances. It's 1918, San Diego, and a girl who doesn't believe in spirits steps off the train and into a new life. Which is kind of a vague synopsis, but the story centers around Mary Shelley, who goes to stay with her aunt during the Spanish influenza epidemic, and she finds herself involved with a bunch of spirit photographers whom she finds to be charlatans. And the story wraps around her best friend and childhood sweetheart, Stephen, being sent off to war, and a very particular photograph that is taken of Mary Shelley that starts this whole train of horrific and very emotionally draining events. It's a great story. Well, I cried all over it, so obviously it's good. If you are looking for beautifully written, super emotional and poignant and absolutely wonderful, this is definitely your book. Please go read it, and then buy another copy because yours will be as tear-stained as mine is. Kat's second novel, The Cure for Dreaming, is set to launch also in 2014, and I look forward to it immensely. Speaking of Mary Shelley, the second book I have for you is actually Gris Frankenstein, which is his graphic novel telling of Mary Shelley's classic tale, which I don't actually own, and I'm very surprised about, and I must correct this immediately. But just look at it. Really? How could you not own it? It's beautiful. And I am so impressed because the end papers, they're muscles. Or his design team, or whoever was responsible for the beautiful binding of this book, did a phenomenal job. I absolutely adore it. It's basically your telling of Frankenstein, but with beautiful illustrations. I mean, look at Elizabeth. Can I tell you just how much I love her? I love her a lot. And of course, now we move on to the series. And the first one I have is the debut by April Tucholke. I had to look up how to say her last name. I admit it, because I was going to butcher it either way. So April, if I butchered it anyway, I'm really, really sorry. Debut, Between the Devil and the Deep Blue Sea. And can I just say how everybody lucked out with amazing covers? I don't even have a book out, and I have cover envy. I'm not sure when the second one, Between the Spark and the Burn, comes out. I think it's sometime next year. This book blew my mind. It's a gothic tale, which I am incredibly fond of. And her descriptions are amazing. I wanted to eat everything that they cooked and smell everything, and I was in the graveyard with the children, and that sounds, out of context, that sounds really terrible. But it is a brilliant, brilliant book, and I cannot wait for the second one. Nothing much exciting rolls through Violet White's sleepy seaside town until River West comes along. River rents the guest house behind Violet's crumbling estate, and as eerie, grim things start to happen, Violet begins to wonder about the boy living in her backyard. Is River just a crooked, smiling liar with pretty eyes and a mysterious past? Or could he be something more? Violet's grandmother always warned her about the devil, but she never said he could be a dark-haired boy who takes naps in the sun, who likes coffee, who kisses you in a cemetery, and makes you want to kiss back. Violet's already so knee-deep in love, she can't see straight. And that's just how River likes it. I cannot say enough good things about Between the Devil and the Deep Blue Sea. So you're just going to have to read it. This is one of those books, along with In the Shadow of Blackbirds, that the day it came out, I ran to Barnes & Noble and begged them for a copy. Progressing right along, the second book I want to talk about is Susan Dennard's Something Strange and Deadly, which, I don't know about you, but I want that dress. Almost want to say that I picked it up by accident. I had gone to Barnes & Noble looking for a completely different book, at this cover, and I would walk around and I would look at it, and I would walk away, and I would come back. Finally, I decided to buy it, and I am ridiculously glad I did. It is phenomenal. I absolutely adore Eleanor. She is funny, she is smart, she's brave, girl loves to eat. A very interesting take on zombies. The dead are on her heels, her life is on the line, and time is running out. After her father dies and her brother mysteriously goes missing, Eleanor Fitt is left to deal with her family's declining financial state. And with her controlling mother trying to marry her off, 16-year-old Eleanor doesn't think life could get more complicated. But then the dead start walking. Desperate to solve the mystery of her brother's disappearance, Eleanor ventures into the private lab of the elusive spirit hunters who protect the city from supernatural forces. Always a social misfit, Eleanor finally feels at home among the intelligent Joseph, the feisty G, and the extremely stubborn yet gorgeous Daniel. But the more time she spends with them, the more dangerous her life becomes. I finished it and immediately ran to the store and bought the second one, A Darkness Strange and Lovely, which is also absolutely beautiful. If you are anything like me, you hate waiting for the last book in the series to come out, and I have to wait until next year for the exciting and wonderful conclusion of Susan Dennard's story. And last but not least is a series that I cannot champion enough, but the Magic Most Fowl series by Leanna Renee Hieber has been one of my favorite reads so far this year. I got the first and second book for Christmas last year, and they are phenomenal. Leanna takes Oscar Wilde's A Portrait of Dorian Gray and does amazing things with that motif. And I think it's very interesting because her protagonist, Natalie, is mute. So you get to experience the narrative in a very different way through Natalie's diary as she recounts the adventures and the battling demons, and that's literal. Not just metaphorical demons, but, you know, actual gonna eat you demons. I was obsessed. It was as if he called to me, demanding I reach out and touch the brush strokes of color swirled onto the canvas. It was the most exquisite portrait I'd ever seen. Everything about Lord Denbury was unbelievable, utterly breathtaking and eerily lifelike. There was a reason for that, because despite what everyone said, Denbury had never committed suicide. He was alive, trapped within his golden frame. I've crossed over into his world within the painting, and I've seen what dreams haunt him. They haunt me, too. He and I are inextricably linked bound together to watch the darkness seeping through the gas-lit cobblestone streets of Manhattan. And unless I can free him soon, things will only get darker still. The first one was phenomenal. The second one, The Twisted Tragedy of Miss Natalie Stewart, is also absolutely wonderful. It holds one of my favorite characters of all times, Mr. Nathaniel Vale, which I'm not really sure which video it was that I read a portion of this book in, but he is lovely. And considering that I am a card-carrying member of Her Majesty's Association of Melancholy Bastards, I have to support my association. Third book in this series, Leanna actually serialized on her blog. I was able to donate, and I got the physical version. Oh, look, if I do this, it's like half my face. The physical version of The Double Life of Incorporate Things, which is beautiful. I don't know if you can tell, but her face is transposed with a skull. And it's so fitting of the whole series. I am blown away. It also feels nice. I don't know what sort of texturizing they used, but it's brilliant. And it's a perfect conclusion to the Magic Most Fowl series, which makes me both very happy and very sad. Luckily, Leanna has a new series, The Eternophiles, which launches through Tor in 2014, which not only will you see people from her Magic Most Fowl series pop up, but she has a couple of new characters, including one of my other favorites, Odd Little Mosley, who's a bit of a electricity bug. So if you were looking for last-minute gift ideas or more books to add to your reading list, hopefully you found this video helpful. And here's to the upcoming brand new year of more books and more adventures and more exciting things to come. As always, thank you for watching. You know, I was really hoping this hat would make me less ghostly, but I don't think it worked.